Just doing a little workout to stay strong and healthy. Even got my fit kicks on. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna lift some weights while I ask you some questions. So, tell me, where have you seen God at work lately? I have seen him in the love from other people. Maybe you have too. It's pretty neat. What about keeping active for you? What do you like to do in the summer to stay healthy and strong? I like soccer too. And I think some of you like baseball. Yeah. Now, you're a little too young to be, most of you are a little too young to be lifting weights yet. But if you're running and jumping and skipping and playing, you're going to stay strong and healthy. I have something to show you. One of the dads of some of our Oxnaz kids was in a bunch of strongman competitions where they lift and do crazy things and have big muscles, really big muscles. Here's some pictures of what they do. Isn't that crazy? They can lift and pull so much stuff. That Patrick is pretty cool. Here's some of the Kidsmen leaders trying to do some of that stuff. Oh, that Clyde. He makes us laugh, doesn't he? No, but here's what they really do for their workouts. Check this out.
Hey, do you guys see that? Is that a bird? No. No, is that a plane? Oh, no, it's not. It's Super Clyde. Ha ha.
Taking care of our bodies is really important. Staying strong and healthy and active is really good. But there are other ways to be strong too. We can be strong in our faith, and we can be strong in our mind, and not just with getting knowledge and learning, but also with being wise. Well, what's the difference between being wise and having knowledge? Well, wisdom is knowing right from wrong and living in it God's way so that we can be all that we were meant to be. It reminds me of a song that I learned when I was a kid. You may have heard it too. It's called "The Wise Man Built His House Upon the Rock." Have you heard it before? We're going to sing it together. You can find it on YouTube. It's called "The Wise Man Built His House" by Through the Waters. And here's some of the actions. It says, when the rains come down, do this. And when the floods come up, do this. And that'll help you to stay in the song. So pause this video, go and sing it out, have some fun, and I will be right here when you get back. Great singing. Now, does that song mean that we're actually going to build our lives on Jesus? No, of course not. It means that we're going to live with Jesus at our core. We're going to live with Jesus as a big part of who we are, just like the Bible heroes that we've talked about so far. Now, the character that we're going to talk about today from the Bible is an almost hero. He was handpicked by God. He was at the right place at the right time, but he got distracted. He stopped living with God at his core, and he stopped living in a wise way. This story is from the book of Judges, but I would recommend, it's a little intense, so you might want to read it with your parents or read it from a kid's Bible. This story is about Samson, the strong man. So you ready to dive right in? This is a true story from long ago, just like all the other characters. Let's go. This is fun. We are moving through the Bible in order from Genesis to Judges. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges. Now, most of the characters that we've talked about have been men, but there were women in all of these stories too. We'll get to some women later on. Right now we are in the promised land. God's people are living there, they are settled there, and for a time they had enjoyed peace and prosperity. But the problem is they keep turning away from God. And so God brings in leaders to help turn the people back to himself. So in Judges, those leaders are called judges. Deborah was one of them, and Gideon was one of them, and now Samson. Samson was specially chosen by God. In fact, an angel appeared to his mom and said that she would have a son, and he would have supernatural strength if they didn't drink any wine, and if they didn't cut his hair. And he did. He was strong. He could kill lions with his bare hands. He could destroy whole troops of the enemy. He was a judge for 20 years. He was strong like Captain America, but Cap was guided by doing right. Sometimes Samson was guided by his emotions, and one of his weaknesses was women. In the story today, he is with a woman named Delilah. Now, what he doesn't know is that Delilah has been offered money to figure out what the secret to Samson's strength is. Delilah was a Philistine. She was actually part of the people that were enemies or against Israel. And so they wanted to figure out how to defeat Samson. So this is what happened.
Listen.
Samson, darling, please tell me the secret of your strength and how you can be tied up securely.
Delilah, if I was tied with 7 new bowstrings, I would be as weak as anyone else.
When Samson was asleep, Delilah tied him up with 7 new bowstrings and called in the Philistines to attack him. But because that wasn't the real secret, Samson easily defeated them.
Darling, you told me a lie. Now please, tell me the truth. If I am tied with new ropes, I will become weak like other men.
Samson went to sleep again, and Delilah tied him up with 7 new ropes. Now you'd think by now that Samson would figure out that something was up, but he didn't. But because that wasn't the secret to his strength, he easily defeated those Philistines too.
Samson, you are making fun of me. Won't you please tell me? Delilah, dear, if my hair was woven into the fabric on a loom, I would become as weak as anyone else.
Delilah used the old "if you love me" trick, and it worked on Samson. He went to sleep again, and she wove his hair through the fabric of her loom. But since that wasn't the secret to his strength, he easily overcame the Philistines that came in to attack him. Delilah persisted. She nagged and she nagged and she nagged so much to find out what the secret to his strength was that finally Samson gave in and told her.
Oh, Delilah, it is my hair. If my head were to be shaved, I would be as weak as anyone else.
So this time when the Philistines came in, he was easily defeated. He had lost the special strength that the Lord had given him. And they captured him and they hurt him, and then eventually he was killed. See, even though Samson was really strong in his body, he didn't stay strong in his wisdom, in the wisdom that God gave him. That is why it is important to be wise. Wow, boys and girls, that story really shows why wisdom is important. If Samson had just stopped and thought for a minute and used the wisdom God had given him, he might not have found himself in that mess. To be wise is more important than being strong, more important than being rich, popular, or good looking. The Bible says that wisdom pays off when we're older. The Bible also says that wisdom is worth more than anything that money can buy. Wow. Wisdom is knowing the difference between right and wrong and then living it out. And we know that taking advice is one thing that helps with wisdom, but where does wisdom come from? Well, wisdom comes from God. The Bible says that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And that's actually our Bible verse for this week. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And that's not fear like, oh, I'm so terrified. It's fear like a healthy respect for God. And the Bible says that when we ask for more wisdom, that God will give that too. Wise thinking leads to right living. And I think that all of us would like to live right. So let's be wise together. I gotta go finish my workout. I might even challenge Tyler to a little arm wrestling match. Maybe you should do some arm wrestling too, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now, boys and girls.